Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to It's in the Cards. Um, I'm hopefully wearing a winter shirt for the very last and final time. It is the last day of April. I would like to put the winter clothes away. We had the rains, heavy, massive rains come in, and it should be the last of the cold and damp because they said it's going to actually do the reverse tonight and warm up during the night and be warmer than it's been all day. These storms are from the tornadoes from just a few days ago. Prayers are going out to everybody that's been affected or have had family out there affected by the tornadoes. It's not even officially tornado season from what I heard until May, which is tomorrow, a little early for them. Our prayers are out there for you. And that you're okay and have the strength to get through all that you're going through and the massive devastation. I have no guests this evening, as I do every month and a half or so. I come on to open up the phone lines a little bit longer than I'm able to when there's a guest and answer some questions and things. I don't have any new decks to share with you tonight, but that's okay because I have some questions I want to address that have come into me throughout the last couple of weeks that I want to address. I know that I believe they are tuned in already, but I'm going to give it a little bit more time to make sure they're situated in things and are tuned in so they don't miss the answers to the questions. I'm not going to call anybody out by name. I don't know if they want to when I open the phone lines. However, if you want to discuss one of the questions further and, have a little back and forth, you will be more than welcome to do that. Something I put out there at the beginning of the week, Monday actually, I think it was actually the very beginning of the week. I didn't see anybody else have it come through on my Facebook, which was surprising. If you have not seen it, you can just Google it. It was viewed on the news. I had missed it and gone to work that morning. My mother had actually seen it. And it was footage that was taken at a soccer game. And at first people thought it was manipulated. Somebody that knows how to do things with video graphics and things like that embedded it and did whatever. But the true story of it is it was not graphically messed with at all because it was actually not from somebody at the game like you and I. It was live during the actual soccer match, and it aired on the air live from the station. The camera person got it, and it was they're calling it the soccer ghost, and plain as day you can see a figure. It's in the form of a shadow running straight through the bleacher stands where the people are sitting. Nobody flinches, nobody acknowledges anything, and running right through the stands, through the people. Different things, as I said, were put out there that somebody messed with it and digitally, whatever you call it, however you do that, and embedded it in there. And it's been assured that that was not done. it was aired that way when the football game, the soccer game, was being aired live. I believe it was in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. But if you just Google um, soccer soccer game ghost, it will come up. It's quite cool. Um, and if the facts of that is indeed true, there's no arguing that there's, life out there and spirits out there. We, as paranormal investigators, spend hours at locations and sometimes get nothing. And for that to have appeared is pretty amazing. It's a pretty cool footage. So you'll want to Google this, the soccer game ghost. And I believe, like I said, it was in Brazil. And have a look. It's pretty neat. People were thinking that maybe it was a shadow from one of the players, but it's too high up. It's not like it's in the stands right at field side. It's elevated. And, I'm not into soccer, but you really don't run that quick in a straight line. Maybe if it was a football game when nobody's around the person that catches it, maybe you could throw it off as, being the shadow. But this, from what I saw and looked at it and studied it, I don't think so. Not at all. Let me know what you think about it. And I do have the link posted on my Facebook page as well from a couple days ago, so you have to scan through them. I just wanted to mention that because, like I said, I was surprised I didn't see more discussions, more people posting it on Facebook. Have you seen it, Eric?
No, I haven't seen that one.
You'll have to check that out. It's really neat. When I first saw it, before I even knew that it was live from the television station and not, a fan that submitted it, I thought it looks awful solid. I mean, it is plain as day. Boom. Straight through the people, the news people were commenting, look, nobody's moving, nobody knows a thing. With that said, I want to get on to questions because I did have a few of them, and I do want to open the phone lines as well tonight and give people a chance to get a mini reading for those that want to call in for that. And before we close, I have to let everyone know I have a fabulous, starting out May, the first 2 weeks, I have a show that I'm going to be doing 2 parts, and the guest I am honored to have, but I'm going to still keep you waiting around to find out what that's all about. But it's, I am thrilled to do it because there's not many shows that discuss the topic, and I think some people will be shocked at what it is, especially this soon. And that's all I'm going to tell you right now, hint-wise. And that wasn't much of a hint. I'm being bad, I know. One of the questions that I had been asked over the week, I have addressed the topic before, but it comes up often. People that are new to the show, people that are new to tarot, oracle cards, whatever. It is a very common question, and I'm going to start off with that because the answer to what the difference is between a tarot deck and an oracle deck, that will escalate into what the exact question about that was because there is a difference between the two. The person that submitted me the questions about this topic had taken a tarot class about a year or so ago, they said. I'm surprised that, with that being said, that oracle cards were not addressed at some point, just in general questions during the class, if there was a difference or not. That did surprise me, but, you know, not everybody would touch on it or, you know, think to ask the teacher that question. There is a lot of differences. The standard being that the tarot decks have 78 cards. There are some that have a couple more. The creators decide to throw in an extra card or two just as extras, and they explain it in their accompanying book what the purpose of them's for. But your standard tarot deck has 78 cards. It is split up into major arcana, which is 22 of them, your minor arcana, and your court cards. Minor arcanas are also known as the pips. And those are split into 4 suits. And going by the standard, the traditional Rider-Waite, it's pentacles, cups, swords, wands is the 4 suits. With an oracle deck, there's no set rules or anything. How many cards can be in a deck? They can be 20-some. They can be, I've seen them like in the 40s. 40 to 50 is about the largest oracle decks that I personally have come across and seen. They follow a theme, which tarot cards do now as well. Oracle decks will be a specific theme. Angels is the common request that I get out of my decks when I'm ending a reading and want them to have a final message. I will pull out 2 oracle decks for them to pick from, and the most common one they pick is one of the angel decks, because everybody wants to know what their angel message is. With the oracle decks, there is usually a message for that specific card written right on the card. And that's what it is. It's a message. It's for basically self-reflection. You need comfort or soothing, and what do they have to say to me? The tarot deck, you actually get information regarding whatever the situation is that comes up that you're going through at the time. I know there are people that do readings with oracle decks, the main one being like angel readings and things like that. I don't do that. Like I said, when I use them, it's to pull a card after their full reading has been done and see what the message is through there. And it's always fun doing that, especially face to face, because they're amazed. They sit there, they watch me shuffle the deck. Nobody has any idea of anything. They pull a card, and it always ends up about what the reading was and a message pertaining to it, and the look on their faces is really, really funny. When you do it over the phone, as I do phone readings, it's not as appreciated because they're not actually seeing that they were shuffled and randomly pulled. They're the main differences with that. Continuing on with that question from the same person, they had stated that they took a class about a year ago. Um, I'm pulling it up now. I had it and it went off the screen. And they passed it, whatever that means. If there was a test or anything at the end, I don't know the details. But the person just doesn't know that they have the ability to read them, and that's a common issue with new readers. Confidence, not sure you're doing it right, can be very intimidating. We were all beginners once, so we've all experienced that and gone through it. So I want to address all of that. But the person continued that they were wondering if maybe it just might take finding the right cards, the right deck, or if possibly they blocked out everything that they had learned from a year ago because somebody apparently told them and suggested to them that that was the case. So there's quite a few things in this question that I want to address. It's very common, like I said, to wonder, can I be doing this professionally? If you didn't question and get concerned about that, part of me wonders because when you're doing readings, people are coming to you with their personal, major, current catastrophe, their issues that are troublesome to them, and sometimes just they can't even focus on things, and they're telling you their personal business as well. There's a lot involved when you're doing this professionally. What I do tell people when they're starting to get over that, people don't want to go to their relatives or best friends and do, say, practice reads because they say, well, I know everything that's going on. I'm with them all the time, live at home with them, whatever the case may be. Go to people that you don't know as well. There's all different ways to do that before just, okay, I took a class, now I'm going to go out and charge people, and I know what I'm doing. And I do want to also address, and I know this from going through the certification process. I'm not going to, discuss any of that or, throw names out there. None, as far as I know, exists right now. But I was in charge of testing for certification. And believe it or not, the people that would contact me saying, I can whiz right through this, no problem, I'll get this, not going to be an issue, how many levels can I get through? They were the ones that ended up not being able to pass, believe it or not. The ones that him and Hold questioned and doubted, do I know this good enough, were the ones that actually should have had that confidence. So, just because you're questioning yourself and having the self-doubt, don't think there's something the matter with you. Tarot, I don't know, I can't speak to how it was precisely taught to this specific person. Everybody has their own way of teaching. People are under the false belief and get scared from doing tarot and attempting to learn it because they think right away, oh my gosh, 78 cards, I'm never going to remember what they mean. I can't stand memorization. I was never good at it, and they never touch them. And it's not about memorization at all. In fact, I always tell everybody, when you get your deck, put aside the little weight book and go through the cards one at a time, and it's about what you see in the cards. Do they have set meanings, yeah, there's, universal common meanings that people use, but those meanings even get described differently from one person to another. For instance, I always use this one as an example, and it was from when I was doing the testing for people. The card, which is here. This is about chaos, destruction, all hell's basically breaking loose around you. What people forget in the positive with the card is, you always have the solid ground. The tower's on fire, all chaos is breaking loose, but you have the solid foundation under it. Somebody had submitted for their meaning of this card instead of chaos, which you hear people use often. Somebody had submitted that it meant earthquake. When that had occurred, I had to contact them and just ask them to clarify what they meant by earthquake, because are you using this to predict whenever this card comes out, is there an earthquake? Or what other thing do you have for earthquake? And earthquake was their way of describing the complete and utter chaos that the tower tends to leave behind. So that was how they described it. So there's set meanings, but there's all kinds of things other than set meanings with the cards. And like I said, I'm not sure how it was taught to this particular person. If you were given set things and told they mean this and only this, and maybe that has left you timid. When I open up the phone lines, if the person that submitted the question wants to call in and participate in this back and forth, please do so. Then I can get, more info from you. And we're going to open up the phone lines as soon as I can get that going for us. I want to go over, there's just a few rules. If you're going to be calling in, you need to turn the volume down. Otherwise, I'm not going to hear you. I will just hear the feedback coming through from the show. So I need you to turn the volume down or completely turn the show off. She is in the chat room saying it was memorization that was done. And that's not the way I teach it at all. They might as well just tell you, pull out the book, the accompanying book with the deck and memorize it. If you're calling in as well and I am on the line with somebody, I need you to please wait till the call is over to pick up the phone and try calling in, because we don't have the ability to put you on hold. So please wait until the current call is complete before picking up the phone and trying. And if you're calling in to get a reading, which I will be doing, hopefully there'll be time for at least one, I need a specific question. I can't just have you, for time restraints and things for the show, just say, oh, pull a few cards and tell me what's going on. We have to keep it condensed and concise and to the point for the show. So with that in mind, those are the three rules that I have to ask you to abide by, and we'll open up the phone lines. Memorization, yeah, like I said, you might as well just get the book and memorize what the accompanying book with the deck says. I'm not going to say this is the wrong way memorization works for some people. It's what I believe keeps people away from learning the cards, however. For instance, when I teach, It does not work for you. No, no, or you wouldn't have been asking the questions that you did. When I teach, this is at the top, the strength card. It's one of the major arcanas of the deck. I will tell the students to just look at the card and say what you see. Some will see peace, calm, it's all the same thing, peace, calm, contentment. Some will see bravery because she is calming and petting a lion. None of those things are wrong. Even bravery being so different than calmness or strength. It's not. It's whatever you personally see in the card. And sometimes when you're doing a reading with somebody, you will see something in the card that you and see the card in a way you never saw it before. The strength card is about inner peace, inner tranquility. She does have the lion tame. She's petting the lion, her hands are on the lion's head. He's calm, he's looking at her, and not in a way to attack. And this could be about finding your inner strength when it perceives itself to you as being strength and courage. You need the courage to bring forth your inner strength, to go through with what needs to be done in whatever the situation is. There's to tell people to do it for memorization. I don't even want to go there because my first reaction is, really, did you pay for that? Let's go to, that was a major, so let's go to one of the pips, the minors. This happens to be the Seven of Swords. What do you see in the card? Sneakiness, some people say. Some people say theft. Some people say, what are some, I'm trying to think what some of the other things are people have said. This card is, some people see treachery, deceit, all of that. And all of that works. You look at the card, he's being a sneak, a deceitful sneak. He's walking away with the swords. Looks like he's looking over his shoulder to make sure nobody sees him walking off with them. And so that it's not noticeable by the tents at the fairground in the background, he very sneakily, or smart, left two swords in the ground. So that when they look up, they'll see swords and they're not going to notice that 5 of them are missing and there's only 2 there. You'll just notice the swords are where they need to be, and as opposed to looking up and seeing nothing. So all of those things are correct. Deceit, thievery, dishonesty, maybe maybe this card came up in a situation wondering about somebody. It very well is letting you know they're not being fully honest, because after all, they're only being a parts thief, right? They only took 5 instead of the 2. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, saying that the teacher ended up being a horrible teacher for her. Yeah, and that's something too. Another point with the decks that you have brought up in your question to me, that possibly it's not the correct deck, and that is also a possibility, which is why I said to you I'd rather address this on the air, because there's just so many different things behind this, and it's probably a combination of all of them. That's actually the issue here. the teacher and their style of teaching didn't mesh with what you needed in order to get something out of it. If you don't have a deck that talks to you or says anything to you that you can get any feeling from, it's the wrong deck. Maybe it's a deck that teacher said you had to have for this class. When I do it, I don't specify Raider weight because it doesn't have to be. Not everybody likes the Raider weight. What I say is a Raider weight based deck, and there's a lot out there to choose from. It's tarot. People that say they don't read the cards intuitively aren't tuned in to their own intuition and things. Because, like I said, doing it almost, about 10 years now professionally, there's times I still get amazed when I'm doing a reading for somebody and I'm going about it and doing it that, for whatever reason, something way different than I've ever said before or ever thought about comes up in the cards. Intuitiveness does take place with the cards. And to say that you forgot what was taught to you, maybe you did, and in this particular case, it's just as well if that's true. Another idea that I tell my students to do is shuffle your deck. And in the morning, sometimes people don't have time in the morning because they're so rushed getting ready, for work and things. They don't have extra time in the morning to take, so they'll do it at night before they go to bed for the next day. And I tell them, shuffle the deck and randomly pull a card of the day for yourself. So, the Chariot. So you pull the card of the day, look at it. If you're new to it, you might want to even have it with you throughout the day. Put it in your pocketbook or in your car or something so that you have it. The Chariot could be telling you that before you go forth with any decisions at work, pause, because there's going to be a choice to make. Don't just run straight through and go ahead and do it. Pause and look at your options or different ways of going about doing the project or whatever. But the Chariot does mean, success, and you will, whatever way you go with it, it will be successful, but don't rush. Look how the Sphinx are. They're laying there. They're not even standing up. And don't fret. Everybody in that picture is calm. Another idea with that also is to write down, if you'd like to call in, the one that I've been addressing the questions to, yes, feel free and call in. I'm still addressing your question with an example of familiarizing yourself with the cards, forgetting what was taught to you as far as memorization goes. You pull the card of the day, and you might want to, keep a little notebook and write down your thoughts on the card that you pulled. And then at the end of the day, pull it out, re-look at the card, think about how your day went and how it did actually apply. So that is one idea that I tell my students to do, to familiarize. Another thing people get intimidated by is spreads. Not everybody learns the same. Not everything works for each person. Not every deck is going to be the deck for you. Decks you like, I'm not going to be able to read with or associate with, and vice versa. The other thing with that is spreads. I knew that, what had upset me was teaching. And hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Is this Becky?
Yes.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thanks. Is your questions getting answered?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. I'm sorry that you had the experience that you had with the teacher. Was it the right teacher or the right class for you, unfortunately?
Right. It was really bad. I took actually a couple classes from her, and I'm having to relearn a lot of stuff, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But I'm glad that it didn't deter you completely from it. That you still have interest and you didn't just say, I don't know what this is, but I'm not enjoying it, and, put them down and have nothing more to do with them. So she taught you, basically, you were taught to memorize, which do not do.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know if did you catch everything that I was saying? I know you had to get a refresh.
Yeah, I caught most of it, yeah.
Okay. So, like, for example, I know you need the volume turned off so we don't get the feedback, but are you able to see the screen?
Let me see. I can go in there. My son is playing Xbox too, so.
Okay.
It's kind of loud.
Okay.
Yeah, I can look at the screen.
Okay. Well, shuffle in the deck and playing a random card. 3 of Cups. What do you see in this card?
Not yet.
The 3 of Cups, the 3 women with the cups up in the air.
Okay. Okay, I see it.
Okay. What do you see in it?
Harmony.
Okay.
For some reason, strength, because 3 is a special number anyway.
Right.
Circle, continuance.
There you go.
Happiness.
Happiness.
Okay.
There you go. You're reading. That's what I meant by, everybody will say the same thing, but in a little bit different way. Some people see this as a celebration. And sometimes when it's pulled in a reading, it does mean a get-together of some sort. I've had it mean a shower, baby shower, or a wedding shower, or a wedding, a get-together of people, or a celebration, along with what you said. There's no right or wrong. It's how each of us describe will use the word than I would a bit.
Okay.
That's all you have to do. Just what you're getting from once you're comfortable with that, putting them together is just, a matter of telling a story. Now, I have a feeling that you probably also got intimidated. Was the Celtic cross what was shown to you for the spread?
Actually, before I even took the class, that was my favorite spread, and now I don't use it now.
Okay. I never can. I'm laughing because it's the opposite. I never used the Celtic cross or any set spreads. I could never get into them. I felt like you're probably feeling with the memorization of the card meanings, I felt trapped. That I couldn't expand because, whatever spread you're using, each position is for a specific thing. You can make your own spreads. I don't read anybody the same. I lay them out the same. I have a sort of similar way that I do them. But I personalize each reading. Like, for instance, say you're coming to me and you're, job searching, and there's 2 different jobs that you really like and you're torn. So you want to have me have a look at the 2 different jobs. What I would do is have a look at job A and a look at job B. And there's different things that I will look at. I'll look at the positives for both and compare them, the negatives for both and compare them. I'll pull a card for what you might need to know, what's important that you need to know about the job to help make your decision, and see what info. And to do that layout, I would, I'm just pulling them from the top now, for lack of time, but I would pull 1 card positive, put it on one side. The next card would be positive for job B, put it on the other side. Then I would do the negative, what you need to know, and have the comparison side by side to them. And, some people say, well, what do you mean? You got the positives and negatives. Why would there be a third what you need to know? Because you're always going to have the positive things wherever it's, whichever job you go to, you're always going to have positives. You're always going to have a negative in everything. But the what you need to know is a different type of thing. What you need to know about making the decision. Possibly one you have to move and you didn't think about it, or you have to travel a longer distance. As opposed to the positives and negatives of the jobs themselves, the added what you need to know while you're considering and debating to help it along. So you don't have to use set spreads either. The fact that right now she's turned you off to them, that's okay too. With your intuition, you might end up being a person that reads like me and don't use any other spread. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Actually, a lot.
Okay, good. Do you have any other questions? Now, I was surprised that you asked about is there a difference between the Oracle and the Tarot, because are you telling me that wasn't touched on in the class?
No,
at all?
It wasn't touched on at all. At all.
Okay.
Nope, not at all.
Usually, it's a tarot class, so, you're going to spend your time on that, but Oracle cards are mentioned in passing. Just, let you know it's completely different. Don't go get an Oracle deck expecting to see what you see in a tarot deck. The fact that that wasn't even addressed is okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, it was only like, I think it lasted like 6 classes.
Okay.
And it was just straight out, she went over the cards and their meanings and basically printed off a handout for us to memorize, is what it was.
Yeah. No.
And then that was it.
Yeah, I do lots of different things. I even incorporate, creative writing at times. It doesn't matter if people can write or can't write, just to get the flow going and get them comfortable. There's so much that can be done. It's a shame that you had such a bad experience with the
It
class?
was insane. I was so excited to actually be taking the classes, and like I said, overall, she just turned out to be a horrible teacher, and it just was a waste of my time.
Yeah, and
I hate that.
I'm sure it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
So you lost out on time and money, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Like I said, I teach. I'm able to. I'm sure this was. You went 6 weeks. It was an in-person thing that you did.
Yeah.
It is able to be done over the phone. It's able to be done through Skype. You really.
I would not have thought that.
You had the memorization, which I'm sure she used main meanings. I hope so. I mean, I hope, you know, she didn't go around saying the death card means death, a physical death. People believe that it does. That's one of the, you know, misconceptions of the tarot deck. Lots of people come. It might be the first time getting a reading, and they sit there, just not the death card. Anything but not the death card. And I hear them whisper. Or they come right out and say, I just don't want the death card. And I look at them and say, but sometimes you do.
Yeah. If you're wanting a bad relationship to end and you get the death card, that essentially is a good card.
Exactly. See, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. When you don't have the right teacher, it just completely can mess you completely up, mess up your confidence and everything else. Did you have anything else that you wanted to ask quick?
Actually, there is I was telling you about the cards that I had actually gotten, and I had gotten them off of her. And they're called spiritual reading cards.
Okay.
And they're by Sylvia Brown. And for whatever reason, she had them, and I just fell in love with them. And basically, it's just little sayings on cards is all it is. And when I lost my dad and everything last year, even before I went to his funeral, because I just needed strength to get through it, I flipped over 3 cards, and I took that as a message from him. And it got me through the day. So that's basically how I start off my day, is flipping over 3 cards.
Right, right. And I'm not familiar, I didn't even know she had done a deck, so I'm not at all familiar with it, but you know, that alone I find strange.
Yeah.
You're taking a tarot class from somebody and they're selling you an oracle deck?
Yeah, but she didn't teach that way.
Right.
She never used these cards. She had them, but she never used them.
Okay.
And they're very beautiful cards. I mean, I was amazed.
Right.
She used a tarot deck like I have, which is a medieval tarot deck.
Okay.
And that's the ones that she used and that she taught with.
All right. When I do, real brief, because I do have, I let everybody know that I do have an announcement and stuff to make, so I'm going to have to close up so I can do that.
Okay.
What I do with the oracles, I don't know if you had caught it when I had said it earlier, because I know you were in and out. When I'm done a full for somebody, I will get an oracle deck out and shuffle them and let them pull a random card for like their final message.
Mm-hmm.
And I have yet to have it not pertain to what the reading was about and what the topic was. It always amazes them. So, you know, it can be used and incorporated with the tarot deck, but it's 2 separate entities. 2 separate entities. Okay? So that's for your questions. And, you know, keep sending them to me as I'm able to get to them. We'll use them on the show. And thanks for calling in and sharing.
Okay, thank you, Misha.
Thank you, Becky. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Hang around for the rest of the show. I want to let everybody know they can get a hold of me on Facebook, Terror by Misha. You'll see me come up twice, one with the Friends page, one for the Terror by Misha fan page, and it's in the cards. Also has a fan page. Just hit like on it so that you can be kept up to date on the shows. And speaking of that, I am so excited. Today's the last day in April. Tomorrow is May. So next week will be the first show for May. And kicking it off, I am doing a 2-part series that I am so excited about. You may or may not be aware. A lot of you probably are, but some of you aren't, that this little over a month ago on March 17th, somebody that has meant a lot to us all, Michael Donald Craig, passed away. He lost his fight with pancreatic cancer. And that was on March 17th, so it's just been a little over a month. With that said, my series, I am so excited. Holly Craig, his wife, is going to be joining me. And we are going to be doing a 2-part series. The show is going to be dedicated, of course, to Donald Michael Craig. I know he had a part in me knowing that it was time and okay this soon to his passing to reach out to Holly, and I knew she would be wanting to do it and be excited as much as I was about it, because there's not enough shows and discussion about what do you say to the people that you know, they leave behind, us that are here. I know, you know, I'm sorry doesn't seem like it's enough. But what do you say? What do you say? You know, there was a similar personal situation somebody that is close to me went through. They had somebody come to them, informing them, you know, they only had X amount of months left. They were dying. What do you say when you're told that by somebody? How do you handle this? What's it like for us who are we're going through the mourning and grief process to have every single part? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, at least they're not suffering anymore and they're in a better place. What's going through your mind? So this is going to be a topic that Holly really, really wants to do, and so do I. We're going to be addressing a lot of things, which is going to be done in 2 parts. So next week's show, we're going to hear about what it was like to be married to the magical Donald Michael Craig, and, you know, find out a little bit about what it was like to live with him, be married to him, share your life with him. Were their fates as magical as, you know, their pleasant moments? What were some of their memorable moments? And the events leading up to when the diagnosis was given, and what they went through with that. We will not open the phone lines next week for the first show because we want to get all the discussion as much as possible out there and stated. The following week when she returns, we will address the additional things that we don't get to next week as far as moving on. What is appropriate? Is there an appropriate amount of time for somebody to mourn, or the appropriate way the spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, whoever, is supposed to act or not act? what is appropriate, what isn't appropriate. Is it an individual process to go through? And we're going to be addressing all of that in the second week and open up the phone line so that you can call in and speak to Holly if you just want to give a hello or ask some additional questions. So I'm really, really excited. Holly's been wanting to get out there. When I had emailed her, she got a hold of me and then we spoke on the phone and she told me she happened to be going through some of his things and she was getting annoyed and just, saying, I want to get out there. I want to start public speaking about all of this, but, where am I going to start? She said, and then, I finish up what I'm doing. I go upstairs. I go onto the computer and my email was sitting there inviting her to do a series like this and having her on. And she was just like, yeah, I get it. Patience is what it's about. So I'm really, really excited to have her next week. And I hope you can join us. And any questions that you may have that you think maybe you wouldn't get through with that you want to address next week, feel free and email them to me. And I will be sure to include them during the 2 weeks that she's going to be on with me. And, of course, the show is going to be dedicated to Donald Michael Craig. On that note, I have to call it a night. We are out of time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next month in a week. Enjoy. Have a fabulous week, and talk to you then. Bye-bye.